Russia did it. They actually did it. The T-14 Armata is the most radical tank Russia has ever built. It weighs about 55 tons, but every ton serves a purpose: firepower, protection, and automation. Unlike the T-72 or T-90 that traced their roots to the 1970s, this design started from zero. The goal was simple: survive modern anti-tank weapons and outshoot everything else. At its center is the 125mm 2A82-1M smoothbore cannon, firing projectiles at over 1,700 meters per second. The gun handles standard Sabot and high explosive rounds, and can also fire 9M119 Reflex-M guided missiles that reach 5 kilometers. Trials of a 152mm gun continue, an upgrade that would turn the T-14 into the most heavily armed tank on Earth. A single hit from that weapon could shatter even an Abrams or Leopard at 2 kilometers. The autoloader keeps 32 rounds ready, eliminating the fourth crewman. That freed space goes to armor. The three-person crew sits inside a sealed armored capsule deep in the hull, completely separated from ammunition and fuel. Above them, an unmanned turret turns, loads, and fires automatically, fed by sensors and cameras. If the turret is destroyed, the crew can still drive away. The T-14's protection is a network, not a shell. Malachit explosive reactive armor detonates outward to defeat both kinetic and shaped charge rounds. Over that lies Afganit active protection, a millimeter-wave radar system that spots incoming missiles at hundreds of meters, calculates their course, and launches counter-munitions in less than 1 second. It is effectively a close-in defense gun for a tank. Afganit's radar also detects drones, feeding data to jammers and defensive grenades. Power comes from a 1,500 horsepower turbo diesel engine, pushing the tank to 80 kilometers per hour on roads and 50 kilometers per hour off-road. The hydropneumatic suspension adjusts height and stiffness on the move, kneeling behind cover one moment, bounding over debris the next. For a vehicle that large, it handles like something half its weight. Each T-14 costs roughly $5 to $7 million US, expensive for Russia but still cheaper than Western equivalents. Around 50 tanks have entered limited service for evaluation and combat trials. The concept is blunt: fewer crew, thicker skin, smarter systems. The result looks less like an old Soviet brute and more like a self-driving gun platform with a grudge. Welcome to Military Power. We'll step inside the T-14's digital core, its fire control algorithms, sensor fusion, and how it links with drones and supporting armor to fight a new kind of ground war. Start with the brain, the T-14's fire control and sensor fusion suite. The tank combines a ballistic computer, laser rangefinder, panoramic day-night sights, and a multi-channel thermal imager into a single sensor bus. Target data flows at millisecond rates, range, velocity, wind, barrel temperature, and even ammunition lot ID feed the ballistic solver. The declared target acquisition time is on the order of 2 to 4 seconds from scan to shot in optimal conditions. With the autoloader and stabilization, first-round hit probability against moving armor at 2 kilometers is claimed to be high. The aim is simple: detect faster than the enemy, aim more precisely, and fire before the opponent can aim back. The optics package matters. The commander's panoramic sight gives 360-degree detection with optical, IR, and laser channels, and the gunner has a stabilized day-night sight with magnification out to 5 kilometers. An independent panoramic module supports hunter-killer workflows. The commander designates a target, the computer cues the gunner, and the autoloader feeds the correct round. Helmet-mounted displays and augmented crosshairs are part of the backseat kit for the commander in some prototypes. Think, point at the truck, let the tank do the math. Autonomy and AI show up in assistance, not full self-drive. The fire control algorithms include automatic target recognition and classification routines trained on templates for armor, soft-skinned vehicles, and helicopters. A TR speeds up engagement decisions and reduces human reaction time. The crew still confirms lethal intent. Protection works in layers. Afganit Active Protection System integrates radar, optical sensors, and hard-kill interceptors. The millimeter-wave radar scans sectors out to hundreds of meters, detects inbound missiles and rocket-propelled grenades, and calculates impact vectors. Countermeasures include soft kill, jamming and decoys, and hard kill launchers that fire interceptors to disrupt or detonate incoming rounds at safe standoff distances. Reaction time from detection to intercept launch is measured in milliseconds, and the system can engage multiple threats in quick succession. Afganit also includes a laser-based dazzler to blind optical seekers, useful against wire-guided or semi-active systems. Turret architecture is unconventional, unmanned, remotely controlled, and heavily modular. The combat module isolates sensors, ammunition feed, autoloader, and the 125mm gun. Internal bustle stores ammo fed into the autoloader drum with 32 rounds capacity. The turret signature is reduced by low-profile shaping and composite materials. Radar-absorbent panels hide high-contrast edges. The lack of a manned turret lowers the thermal and radar cross-section and removes crew exposure to turret-penetrating hits. Powertrain layout is designed for heavy electrical demand. The 1,500 horsepower turbo diesel runs a high-output alternator and a dedicated auxiliary power unit to feed electronics, sensors, and future electrical loads. Reports and prototypes show battery or supercapacitor banks intended as surge buffers to power high-draw subsystems, radar bursts, active protection interceptors, and electronic warfare pulses without stressing the main generator. Thermal management for electronics and the APU is critical. Heat exchangers and coolant loops route through the hull and into winged radiators when the tank is in open terrain. Mobility and suspension support the mission. Hydropneumatic suspension allows variable ground clearance and tilt. The system can kneel to lower silhouette or raise to cross obstacles. Top speed is 80 km per hour on road, kilometers per hour cross-country, numbers that match the requirement to keep up with mechanized formations while offering tactical mobility for shoot and scoot. Crew interface aims for cognitive efficiency. The driver gets a consolidated HUD and a backup manual control. The commander and gunner operate via large multifunction displays with touch and tactile haptics. Killboards and threat overlays prioritize immediate dangers. Incoming missiles blink red, tracked friendlies stay green. Voice and gesture commands exist in prototype form for critical actions, reducing button press latency when every second counts. Electronic warfare is baked in. The T-14 carries an EW suite that can detect laser designators, jam GPS and data links in short bursts, and emit false targets. That pack works with brigade-level electronic warfare assets to mask movement and deceive guided munitions. Radar warning receivers and laser warning receivers cue the APS and countermeasures. Drones and networked tactics are a force multiplier. The T-14 links with organic and brigade UAVs for overwatch. Drones feed lines of video and LiDAR-like mapping into the tank's battlefield management system, enabling the T-14 to engage with precision from concealment. The concept: send a cheap drone up, let it spot and paint targets at 10 to 20 kilometers, and let the T-14's guided missiles or artillery do the rest. In exercises, T-14 formations operate as a hub. Drones scout, artillery suppresses, tanks close. The chain shortens the kill time. Logistics and maintainability are pragmatic. Modular crew capsules and replaceable turret modules mean damaged units can be swapped in the field if the supply chain supports it. That's the theory. History will tell how repairable the systems are in sustained combat when parts and microelectronics are under sanction pressure. Tactically, the T-14 is a centerpiece for asymmetric armored doctrine. It draws fire with high survivability, uses sensors and drones to spot and kill, and hands over persistent control to cheaper T-90M and T-72B 3M variants to hold ground. The Armata platform's modularity means the same chassis can carry engineering, recovery, and bridge-laying variants, keeping formations moving without reinventing the wheel. The T-14 Armata enters a battlefield already crowded with heavyweights. Across the Atlantic, the M1A2 Abrams SEPV-3 remains the U.S. Army's main muscle. It mounts a 120mm smoothbore gun-firing depleted uranium rounds at over 1,700 meters per second, comparable to the T-14's 125mm 2A82-1M cannon. Protection levels differ by philosophy. The Abrams uses composite armor with depleted uranium inserts and weighs roughly 66 tons, more than 10 tons heavier than the Armata. Its 1,500 horsepower gas turbine engine gives a top speed of about 67 kilometers per hour on road, but drinks aviation fuel at alarming rates, more than 3.8 liters per kilometer in the field. The U.S. approach prizes survivability and logistics depth. Russia's design seeks lighter mass, higher acceleration, and easier rail transport. Germany's Leopard 2A7 is Europe's benchmark. Armed with the 120mm L55A1 gun, it fires programmable multi-purpose munitions effective against infantry, fortifications, and tanks out to 4,000 meters. Its diesel engine develops 1,500 horsepower, pushing 64 tons to 70 kilometers per hour on road and about 45 kilometers per hour cross-country. The Leopard's advantage is sensor fidelity. Stabilized thermal imagers and laser rangefinders allow first-round hits under 3 seconds after detection. Where the T-14 relies on radar and active protection, the Leopard counts on precise optics and thick passive armor. Each Leopard 2A7 costs between $8 million and $11 million US, compared to the Armata's $5 to $7 million, though Western production quality and sustainment lines are longer proven. Britain's Challenger 3 aims for extreme lethality. Its new 120mm smoothbore replaces the rifled gun of earlier models, paired with a digital turret, active protection, and modular composite armor. Combat weight approaches 66 tons, road speed about 60 kilometers per hour. The Challenger's autoloader and upgraded optics narrow the automation gap with Armata, though it still keeps a 4-person crew. France's Leclerc XLR sits lighter at about 57 tons, powered by a 1,500 horsepower diesel and reaching 72 kilometers per hour on road. Its autoloader, holding 22 rounds, was once unique in NATO service. The Leclerc's high mobility and digital systems echo the Armata's networked node vision. Yet it relies on human situational awareness rather than radar-fed autonomy. China fields 2 comparably modern tanks. The Type 99A weighs around 58 tons, mounts a 125mm smoothbore firing penetrators at roughly 1,700 meters per second, and sprints at 80 kilometers per hour on road with a 1,500 horsepower diesel. It integrates laser dazzlers and modular composite armor, conceptually similar to the Armata's Afganit and Malachit defenses. The export-oriented VT4, at 52 tons, sacrifices some armor for cost efficiency. Several Asian and Middle Eastern nations operate it. Technologically, Armata sits between these philosophies. It uses radar and automated protection like no Western tank yet fielded, weighs less than most, and offers the only operational unmanned turret and fully isolated crew capsule. Where NATO vehicles emphasize human judgment supported by electronics, the T-14 embeds electronics that partly replace human reflex. The question is reliability. Can Russia's software and sensors match the uptime of Western electronics hardened through decades of service? Strategically, NATO doctrine differs as much as engineering. The United States and its allies fight with combined arms, tanks as one element of a web of air power, drones, artillery, and logistics. Russian doctrine leans on quantity and shock, using high survivability spearheads like the T-14 to punch gaps for cheaper T-90M and T-72B3M formations to exploit. If an Armata formation of 30 to 40 tanks operates under air cover and electronic warfare shielding, it can dominate local ground fights. Without that umbrella, Western drones and precision strikes would shred it within hours. Cost and production scalability may decide everything. The U.S. builds hundreds of Abrams each decade. Germany and France keep assembly lines warm through exports. Russia's constrained industry, under sanctions, must improvise. Even optimistic projections of 50 to 100 Armatas per year barely match annual Abrams refurbishment numbers. A long war favors the side with parts, technicians, and fuel. Sensors tell the same story. The T-14's millimeter-wave radar gives theoretical awareness of small drones and missiles within hundreds of meters. But NATO's layered ISR, satellites AWACS, and drones scanning hundreds of kilometers detects formations before they move. Armata's survivability envelope is local. NATO's awareness envelope is continental. On firepower, the balance is narrow. Western 120mm long rod penetrators can pierce 600 to 800mm of rolled homogeneous armor equivalents. Russian 3B M59. Svinets 1 rounds claim 650 to 700 millimeters at 2 kilometers. Both can kill each other with the right shot. The gap is not penetration but detection and coordination. Who spots, fires, and reloads first? The Armata's radar cueing gives it milliseconds of edge. NATO's networked drones give it minutes of warning. In the global arms market, every nation picks doctrine. The US bets on integrated logistics and overwhelming precision, Germany on mechanical perfection and training, Britain on modernization and interoperability, China on scalable exports, Russia on a hybrid of brute strength and automation. Each approach reflects its industrial DNA. The T-14 remains an engineering statement, lighter than Western tanks by 8 to 12 tons, potentially faster, and conceptually ahead in crew protection. But its success depends on whether it can survive NATO's economy of scale and drone-saturated future battlefields. Against an Abrams backed by satellite feeds, a Leopard guided by real-time European ISR, or a Chinese battalion networked with sky-high drones, the Armata's radar-guided reflexes will need flawless power, cooling, and communications to stay alive. Hit like, smash subscribe, and stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next videos.